Thank you, Don. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, and especially all the mothers out there. This is a very important day coming up, Mother's Day. Just want to see a quick show of hands. How many people have their Mother's Day cards ready? Anybody order flowers? Yes. It is interesting, and Tim alluded to this at Table Topics this morning. The founder of Mother's Day here in the United States was against the commercialization that these cards represented and selling of flowers. That person was Anna Jarvis, as Tim started to point out. Anna Jarvis held a memorial for her own mother at St. Matthew's Methodist Church in Grafton, West Virginia. It turns out that St. Andrew's Methodist Church now is has the International Mother's Day Shrine. This is where it started. Anna Jarvis wanted to recognize her mother and started Mother's Day in the United States and began her efforts in 1905. If you think about it, she campaigned to have Mother's Day as a national holiday, and it took until 1911, just a few years, until all the states in the United States had adopted Mother's Day as a local holiday, but it wasn't until President Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation that it became a national holiday. Do you know what it's like to get something through Congress these days? Imagine the dedication that she had to have to get all the states to recognize it first in order to get Congress finally to recognize it. The first time she tried to get this national holiday recognized, Congress did reject it in 1908. They rejected Mother's Day. Why? Because they said they would have to have another holiday called Mother-in-Law holiday. And they just rejected it. And then finally, because of her persistence, Anna Jarvis was able to get Woodrow Wilson to sign his proclamation. But Hallmark cards and a number of other commercialization quickly came out with cards and were selling them and making money off the holiday. And she resented that because it went against what her mother represented. Her mother was a peace activist. She worked on both sides of the Civil War, and she took care of the ill, the wounded, the soldiers from both sides of the Civil War. And she wanted that memory to be there and honored for Mother's Day. The selling of cards, the selling of flowers, she said, seemed to cheapen the original sentiment of the day. She wanted to have people write their cards out or write out letters and actually be there in person. This particular card is by UNICEF, but the original cards were by Hallmark. And she was against this. Yet how many times do we buy a Mother's Day card or we buy flowers? We don't think anything of it. I wanted to spend a little time just thinking about what a mother does for each one of the people in her family. The sacrifice she makes, the dedication, and the patience. I know of one mother, before the child was even born. In this particular case, it had been a rough time getting pregnant. But before the child was born, she was so concerned about her child. She could feel it in her. It was bouncing. And then one day she woke and she couldn't feel it anymore. She was on the phone to the doctor for an emergency ultrasound because all of a sudden she couldn't feel anything. The unborn child. The ultrasound showed the unborn child was still fine. Maybe the unborn child was playing hide and seek. But it was her concern already before the birth of the child. And then there's the birth. That first day when you see the child, after all the effort of the mom, during the pregnancy, during the childbirthing, during perhaps even the cesarean, and all the pain that's there, to see the joy on a mother's face. It's like no other when she holds her little one in her arms for the first time. It is a very powerful image. But a mother's dedication, a mother's sacrifice goes on. I know of a mother who was sick. She was tired. She was just tired from all the times you have to get up to feed the child and the effort that has gone around. The child was not sleeping well. So she rocked the child to sleep. She sat there and held the child during the middle of the night. And I could see the exhaustion in the mother. She was tired. She was sick herself. The baby's sleeping just fine. But her dedication there, her want to have the child to be perfect and to be fine, she would sacrifice even her own feelings, her own exhaustion. She'd put it all on the line. That's the sacrifice. Anna Jarvis said it well when she said she believed that mothers were the single most person who had done more for you than anyone else in the world. And that's the sentiment we're here to think about. The daily regiment of chores to bring up children, the cleaning of clothes, the making of dinner, lunches, breakfast, getting kids to school, getting kids to their activities, soccer games. It's a daily regiment. And do you think they feel appreciated? How many times do kids misunderstand their mom? They misunderstand what they're trying to do for them. Or basically you go through the rebellious years and you don't like the regiment that your mom makes you go through. But she's there, she's patient with you, and she does this. Why? Because she loves you. So I want to leave you with this idea. Mothers have a bond like no other, a devotion like no other, and a love for their family like no other. It's important that you understand that they've earned the holiday. This is a time, don't just wire them flowers, bring them the flowers. Spend time with them. Listen to them, let them feel heard. Be with them. This Mother's Day, I'm going to have the opportunity to actually be with my mom. And it's a wonderful opportunity, very rare. Take the time, be with them. I'm saying thanks to all those mothers. You've earned a day. Happy Mother's Day.